Welcome to the Rewrite Your Life Story podcast, hosted by your favourite duo, Stephen and Charlene. They're here to help you transform your mindset and create a positive outlook on life. Are you tired of feeling stuck and unfulfilled? Are you ready to take control of your thoughts and emotions and rewrite your story? Well, you're in the right place. They will be sharing inspiring stories, practical tips, and expert advice to help you on your journey to a better you. You'll learn how to let go of negative self-talk, embrace your strengths, and focus on the good things in life. Each episode will be joined by amazing guests who have rewritten their own life stories and are now living their best lives. From successful entrepreneurs to accomplished athletes, we'll bring you stories of resilience, courage, and triumph. So grab a cup of coffee, get cozy, and get ready to be inspired. Tune in every week for a new episode of the Rewrite Your Life Story podcast. Let's rewrite our stories together and make every day count.
In this episode of Rewrite Your Life Story podcast, we hear about Zahrina Robertson. Zahrina shares her inspiring journey of finding her true purpose through the art of painting. Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions as we delve into Zahrina's story, from her corporate days in Australia to following her intuition and becoming a sought-after photographer to the stars, and then emerging as a talented Australian artist whose work has captured the attention of a New York gallery and esteemed figures like Brook and Tony Robbins. Zahrina's story will make you laugh, it will make you cry, and it will inspire you to rewrite your own life story. Join us as we embark on this incredible journey of resilience, passion, and self-discovery by one of Australia's most sought-after branding experts, who has been featured on Australian television and the winner of many awards. So join us as we delve into her story.
Before we get started, we want to remind you that the information presented in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts and their guests are their own and do not represent the views of any organisation or entity. Additionally, any information presented should not be taken as legal, medical, or financial advice. Always consult with a licensed professional in the respective field for any advice or guidance. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's dive into today's topic and learn how to transform our lives through positive thinking and taking control of our stories. Thanks for joining us.
Before we begin this episode of Rewrite Your Life Story, we want to provide a trigger warning. This podcast explores personal stories and experiences that may touch upon sensitive topics. We believe in the power of storytelling to inspire, heal, and create connections. However, we understand that certain stories or discussions may evoke strong emotions or memories. If you find yourself triggered or overwhelmed during this episode, we encourage you to prioritize your well-being. Take a pause, breathe, and know that it's okay to step away if you need to. Reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or mental health professional for support. They can provide a listening ear and guidance during difficult moments. Remember, you are not alone, and there are resources available to help you navigate these feelings. Take care of yourself and engage in self-care practices that bring you comfort and peace. Thank you for listening, and let's continue this journey of rewriting our life stories with compassion and understanding.
Well, I am super excited to have Zahrina Robertson on the show today. Zahrina is a powerhouse. We've known Zahrina for about 9 years now and just watched this amazing story evolve and transformation. And Zahrina, like lately you've been on television, you've been featured around the world for your art, which is a new thing that you've just started in the last couple of years.
What a journey, isn't it?
It's been an amazing journey. So Zahrina, tell us a little bit about your background before we start this amazing transformation, because I love, like when I said, what do you want to talk about? You had 3 distinct areas, and your career, losing your marbles, as you called it, and then finding yourself. So let's talk about that today. Let's talk about your career first.
Gosh, yeah. Did I actually say losing my marbles? Yeah.
You did.
That me. My career. Well, I'm here. I'm living my purpose. I'm just going through and do and make the best of my creativity. And I've worked with the best of the best in the industries, internationally, photographed, videoed people of notoriety. I've created the personal brands of some of the best in the planet and worked with them and created that from my heart and my mind. And so, including you too.
Yeah.
And so it's just been an evolution, you know. I left school knowing that I'm just here. I just knew though from something very young that I'm here for something big. I don't know what it was. I still kind of maybe not searching, it's happening, but it's coming or evolving. And I just knew that when I was 7 years old, there was something just big, and I just didn't know, and I just felt something special was happening, but it was going to be, I just had no idea. I went into corporate, and Louis Vuitton Moët Hennessy, studied marketing, did training, and I just liked, you know, pushing myself and evolving and becoming just a better human, really, and liked communicating, and I started getting into, and I loved that motivation and things like that, and doing that for people. And then I ended up being in the sales and marketing and branding role for Louis Vuitton Moët Hennessy. And I just really opened up a bit of a Pandora's box of going, oh, I like all this. I'm actually fucking good at all of this, right? And I get to wear makeup and put lipstick on and play with color and, you know, makeup. I love that. It was like really cool. It was like really like, God, I love this shit. You know, perfumes. I was getting off on all the colors and the perfumes and the smells. And little did I know, and I look back now, that I am very high sensory. And I love all of that in my life. I would even hoard so much makeup that I couldn't even put it all on my face all at once. Because I just liked it. Anyway, moving forward, perfume, the whole shebang. It's just that I fell in love with, I guess, high sensory stuff. I think I liked helping people. And so helping people be the best that they can be. And when I got bullied in that job by a very big lady, my heart sank. I thought this was really quite a great job. When I got bullied, I had a choice to make. And I was like, wow, management of an all-woman business is not going to support a female getting bullied, you know? So I was just like fucking angry. But I was really upset, going, why do people not support good people? You know, these are all my thoughts, okay? Okay, so I'm just giving you all these things I'm going through. And then I looked at it holistically going, wow, I've actually got to go. I've got to go. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like, wow, how interesting. I've got a choice. And I left there and I went and I had an epiphany. I've got to jump over the cliff. What am I going to do? And God got this massive message. One word, loud and clear. One word that's changed my life. One word. This intuition blew my mind. And the word was photography. So I jumped off the cliff and I went off into this photography land. But I sat with it. I went, photography. Okay, Dad was a photographer. I'm kind of, yeah, I get it. Okay. I was just talking to myself. I'm going, I get the word photography. I don't want to study this shit. I just think I could just, why do I have to do? I was struggling with it. I was struggling with, why do I need to feel like I have to go and study it? So, of course, I went and studied it, right? Because I thought, oh, fuck, people are not going to, hire me if I don't have any credentials. So I went to this Australian Centre for Photography, enrolled myself, and they're talking about the shadow and photographing eggs and the shadow and, like eggs. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, God, get me out of here. I was like enjoying it, but I wasn't, because I found through the processes of my high-end intuition and my high-end understanding of where my soul wanted to be was not being taught. I'm going to be teaching myself, because I've just got to believe in myself. So a whole lot of lessons came from this epiphany of learning and believing in myself and going, you know what? The universe has my back. I've got its back. I'm just going to go and do it. So I picked up my own cameras and got off my merry way and just started doing all this photography my way, my way, my strategies, my way. And I just developed me and for what I did for people, my way. And because at the time, I don't think there was even, I don't know if there was Facebook. There's probably Facebook a little bit around, but not really, a little bit, no. And then I was just enjoying my own journey of going, okay, this massive message came in, photography, make the most of it and do it now. Okay, universe. So I did it. And so I ended up creating what I do today, which is photography. But putting that pieces together is that I was working with business chicks. I got asked to do that. I created the brands of people, photographed. I worked with corporates. I worked for Australian tourism. I did massive events for people all by myself because I was loving it. Running around, having fun. It was all personality driven, making them happy. I knew I was a conduit for joy. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And that's what fed my soul. I'm having fun with all these people. They're having fun in their learnings and stuff like that. So that was it. It fed me. I love them and they love me. And then I big events. And I never was a wedding photographer. And I thought, And then some mob, a church mob, booked me to be their wedding photographer for 100 years. And I just did their photography because in the ranks of this church, Anglican church at this time, they had the little children became the teenagers became the adults, and they were all falling in love with each other. They got me to come in and be that wedding photographer for this mob. So I was like, all right, that's my wedding gig, And I would see these kids, and then the kids that I photographed, like these, the adults, would then have children. So those children would be coming and like going through the ranks. I'm like, oh my God, okay, great. Oh, you are that couple, right? Okay. Anyway, so that was interesting. That was really interesting. I really enjoyed that because I was like, I was watching people evolve, get older, have children, become parents. I'm like, oh, right. It was just hilarious. And they'd look at me and go, hi, Zahrina. And I went, hi. And they'd go, oh, have you met Johnny Jr.? And I went, Johnny Jr.? Aren't you Johnny Jr.? I went, anyway, Johnny Jr. was in tow. Anyway, that was that mob. But that was my stint in wedding photography. That was quite funny. And it was interesting. And it was lovely. And it was soul-driven. So anyway, that was good. But it was so interesting to go through this journey of photography. But I had my Taj in 2008. Yeah, he was born. And that changed a lot for me because I had to feel like I had to have, I was actually really grateful at that time. I actually remember another thought that I'm really grateful for having the flexibility of my talent and being able to be a photographer, to be able to have balance in my life as a female in business and a woman and, at home and, different things like that. I was really grateful because I look back at my career back then and went, oh, right, this is a God's gift to be able to have balance. That's, that was great and enjoy my life. And the next thing you know, I just basically carried on and did business chicks. I met the women in business and I went, you know what? You ladies, 600 of you on LinkedIn or wherever you all are, we're just all mismatched. And I went, oh, okay, I'm just going to, with my marketing background, because at that time I had already studied marketing and things like that. And I loved marketing and put that into my business and infused it naturally. And so I infused that naturally angle of marketing into people. But I also started realizing that I'm looking at people and I'm looking at them and I'm looking at them really intuitively going, you're turning up in front of me here at this event, but you're not turning up online the way I see you. And it was really interesting because I see people, I see into the depths of their soul, I see them and I capture them and I do it. But that for me is an action. It's such an innate action of such a deep intuition that is milliseconds, it's like milliseconds. I am gifted at that. I will own it. and you two have been at the receiving end of that. But it's just innate. And I know when I look and I feel it, even before the image is turned up on the screen of the camera, that I have got the hero shots. So innately, I believe in my intuition and my gut feeling and my gift. So if there's anything for the listeners out there, I really believe that take stock of where you are in your life and find out what you are really good at or what you want to be good at and be excellent at it. And do not settle for second best of yourself, not of anyone else, of yourself. Because I said to myself when I got that epiphany of photography, that one word, when I jumped off the cliff after I was being bullied, and I said to myself, if I go down this rabbit hole of being a photographer, because my dad was a photographer, but if I go down this role as a photographer, I don't ever want to not do a good job at doing it, and if people don't like my work. So 100 years later, oh yeah, I'm still in business. So so that's a thought and a process that you need to say to yourself, be excellent at what you do. Because why would you not be excellent at what you do if you can't serve the people the right way? Because you're just going to feel their disappointment, your disappointment, their disappointment. It goes like that. You don't want to be in that bloody scenario, like that bad energy feeling, that cycle of bad energy. So you want to always feel in flow. You want to feel in prosperity. You want to feel all that, so just be excellent at what you do. Do whatever you need to do to be excellent at what you want to do.
I love that. I love two things you've said at the moment, and it just a couple of things while you're talking. I think one, you trust your intuition.
Yeah.
Which is so important because a lot of us have, due to past experiences or traumas or things just not going to plan, have blocked our intuition or have blocked responding to intuition. So I love that. But also the humility that you have, talking about, I did it for the church, I did the wedding photos, I did the generation, but yet you haven't mentioned that you've photograph people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Richard Branson. So there's such a humility to that joy of being that conduit of joy. And I just really love that about you.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like being that conduit of joy.
Yeah, and that humility. So, and I know for us, like I was just doing the maths. Our shoot with you was 9 years ago. So we're definitely due for another one. But that experience changed our whole branding, changed the way we dressed, changed the way we were confident. I remember you coming to us and saying, "Oh gosh, you can't wear that anymore in your career. You have to change this."
Yeah.
We even organised for someone to take us shopping, but that set a trajectory of a new style for us, and we're really grateful for that.
I think that actually changed how we looked at ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what? Can I tell you, from the day I ever picked up the camera to tell people, you're looking crap or you're looking great, Too bad. I love telling the people the honest truth, and telling them and guiding them to be a better them. Oh, come on, man. I really realized this is my gig. I know how to do that innately.
And I guess the biggest shift that you made for me, because I used to be so overweight and 200 kilos, even though I lost the weight, I still dressed for that to hide myself.
I know you did.
And you showed me how to take that clothing off and actually dress appropriately for who I am now. So I want to thank you for that.
God, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh gosh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to cry. That's really nice. Thanks. That's really meaningful. Yeah, it means a lot to me.
You're welcome. And again, I'm internally grateful and thankful for that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like I really realized that, when we are connected to heart and soul about what you do, and you get the right people coming to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been really interesting, when you can be, oh God, there's stuff in my eye.
It's all good. And again, you're being your authentic self, which is what our listeners want, is people being themselves in the moment. So
authenticity.
Yeah, that authenticity.
I got through such a big change, guys. I've been through a massive journey. It's right. You're really hitting my heart right now, because right now I'm just going through some big changes, huge changes. Woo!
Exciting changes for you?
Massive. Fuck, it hasn't even started. Like, really, you're about to hit. Okay. Yeah. Let's go. Okay. So, basically, just, like, even working with the famous people, like, and I can see through them and I can see them and for who they are. And I can see interesting people when they're living in ego and living in their heart. And I remember my career. I have worked and seen and stood in front of people and photographed them and there's a connection, and then there's a real connection, and I think throughout my career, and I have said this before, that I have felt like a glorified plumber. And when I say that, glorified plumber is the person that is not feeling valued for what I do for people because it's the wrong person I'm doing it with. And I say this because I started understanding why am I feeling itchy? What is going on? And I would go to networking events and not feel like I'm even there. And I wasn't connecting to the egomaniacs in the room. You'd go to networking groups, and the only person that's bloody well benefiting from it is the person at the top of the tree at times. But I was not feeling that there was congruency and a heart in, for me, for networking groups, right? So I was feeling like a square peg, and I was just getting itchy, right? And so I would be visiting networking groups and feeling like, oh, I need to belong, or I need to fit in, I need to, like behave, anyway, and not have fun and not be the real me. It was really interesting, the journey with networking groups. That's what I'm trying to say to you, right? And I know there'll be a lot of listeners out there going, yeah, I get you. I get you. I am invisible in that networking group, and I'm not visible. And I was like that. And I was like that. And even though how I look, I'd be a magnet for, I'd be an attraction magnet for nice people or whatever that would be, whatever it is. But there'd be a lot of too much damaged people that I was feeling, that there was this magnet that was, that repels. That's really interesting. I'm saying this on reflection because my experience as I was feeling itchy, I was feeling displaced in my career. I was looking for answers and not finding it. So my answers I was like, oh my God, I better go to a networking group to find some answers. And I was like, and why I'm saying this to you and everyone is because you will come to a point in your career where I was going up and I was like that on the top, and it was fine. And then, and I was going and questioning what's going on. And I was going down a rabbit hole. And I was going down this rabbit hole, losing myself and losing my creativity.
Wow.
Why was I losing myself and why was I losing my creativity? Because I lost my purpose. And that's some reflection today, as I talk to you two today, that I can actually own, apart from being at that story, putting on national television, 5 million people, that recently I'm only just owning this now to able to talk about it. Because I've not been able to talk about it until now, because I haven't felt confident in sharing my story about what has happened to me and about my journey in my career of what I'm really, really good at and the heartfelt space that I have left. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What I'm trying to say to you, someone said to me, Zahrina, draw your career. And it goes up and it goes fantastic, like Mount Everest, fantastic. And then Mount Everest like 100 times like, Mount Everest like this, it goes across like that. And then it goes, and then it goes up again, right? Up again, climbing another Mount Everest, everybody. So if you can see the visualization, it's going up and down, right? In a way, but not too much. It's just one down, right? But what I'm trying to say to your listeners is that, yes, we all know life is not simple. Life will go down. But it's what we're learning at the bottom of the pit. And what happened for me, and that I can relate to right now after being down that pit, is that I lost my creativity. I lost my purpose. I lost my passion. I lost my love for who and what I was doing. I lost it all.
But you were still going through the motions of doing your photography at the time.
Yeah. And I, picking up a camera, 6 kilos of camera, I felt like a cowgirl. Just pick the camera.
Yeah.
And I was doing it like that, mechanical, right, guys? And when you get to a point, you go, am I being mechanical? Mm-hmm. Yes. Next. And I was really feeling, shit, Zahrina, this is not you. Yeah. Shut up. That's not you. And I would ignore those things that I was being of me. I was ignoring that, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like taking deep breaths, and I was coming home and I'd be crying. And I'm like going, what's the matter? Like, this is not me. Struggling with being me because I wasn't tapping in to what I was not being, because what I was being was wrong. Yeah. So I was not being is what I should be being. And so what I'm now done, at that bottom of the pit, I stopped. I thought. I went into myself and I just lost my mojo for life itself. I lost everything. My mojo, creativity, meaning, purpose. Even for someone like me that was highly and is still highly driven, highly accomplished. I've won many awards, many, many awards. I've spoken internationally. I've written 3 books and the 4th one's coming out now. I've worked with all the top people, but you can, and I could say this happens to everyone. I swear to God, I'm sure, at some point of their life and in some way and in some, what do you call it, form. But for me particularly, losing myself and losing my creativity was massive. For someone that's driven and born into creativity, born for creativity, and at the age of 7 years old, I was walking the streets of my neighborhood selling, knocking on the doors of my neighbors going, excuse me, I'd like you to see the art of, no, not art, the little craft I've made at home. And I'd like you to see if you'd like, I just want to sell it. I think a 7-year-old knocking on doors. What I learned as a 7-year-old is like, I'm getting to meet somebody, I'm knocking on the neighbors' doors, I'm getting to meet who they are, and I'm offering what I created from my heart and soul as a 7-year-old in a box under my arm, these little tiles full of just little creative, like really little creative things that they could hang as gifts. Yeah. So I created these little craft things, and I would sell these little craft things to these people who would open up their door, and I'll be looking up at them and going, excuse me, I'm selling these little craft things and they're gifts. And they'd go, hi. And I go, hi. And I was learning people skills, marketing, sales, charisma, a little mini fortune, not really. But I go, how much? And I'd say, for this tile, it's $5. And they'd go, okay, $5. Okay. And then I'd be running on my mind. I'm going, oh, and I had my favorite. So I had my favorite little craft things. And I'd go, oh yeah, that one, that's $8. They'd go, and they go, okay, I'll take that one. Oh, that should have been more. I should have sold that for $10. That's my little 7-year-old saying to me. So
entrepreneur.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that I also learned just a whole lot of different skills at age 7. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say as well. But when you are on a learning experience as an adult and you lose everything about yourself and you compare that to a 7-year-old who's like, oh, come on, bring it in. There's no fear at 7, right? I was just walking it. I was talking the streets. And then I was like an adult here, losing everything. And art was bloody catastrophic for me. And at the bottom of the pit, something remarkable happened. The bottom of the pit, one day, I woke up. I was really at the very bottom of that fucking pit. I was just looking around and I don't know. I was just fluffing around on my phone, and something flashed up in front of me, and it was about color. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, what? Wow, what was that? And I got a physical reaction, such a physical reaction. I sat up and I was like, oh, and I go, it was like a deep breath. It was like it was a soul-driven reaction. And what was it? It was just color, discovery of color, color, paint. Oh, and then I was like, all of a sudden, in my mind, in my heart, it just went, that's it. It just went like that. A word, it was that's it. And then I started painting. I just started painting out of nowhere.
And some of those works are absolutely beautiful that you've done. We've seen some of those.
Thank you. And then I started painting, right? I started getting really passionate about color. Color, of course, color drives me. Color drives what I do here with the camera. Color drives me, man. When I'm editing my photos of the 3 billion photos I've edited, I never outsource any of my photos ever. Because people don't fucking see the color I see in people, you know? Why would I outsource that shit, you know? No way. How can you do that? It's innate, right? It's innate, right? It's in my soul. I know how to bring out the color in you. You know what I mean? Nobody else gets it.
Yeah.
Nobody. And also the balance of the skin and the color. No, I get it because I see who you are. Anyway, so that's why I never have outsourced my product. It's very, very bespoke, basically. So what I'm trying to say is that when I found out that color was driving me, went to painting, started painting. It was like, ooh, I'm a kid in a candy store, massive. And then I was like, I have a sunroom, right? There's the sunroom. There was just a lounge. It's just one lounge in that sunroom. And it was where, you know, you'd go to kind of, and to me, there was like, I'd go there just to feel the sun. It was very, very full. It felt like there was angels in that room because it was so beautiful as a sunroom, right? I'd sit there and I'd just sit there and like enjoy the sun, right? And the peacefulness of that particular room was very peaceful. And then all of a sudden, my gosh, boom, boom, table, painting, paint. And it was that whole room had bread, like it was like a breeding ground for paint. It was shocking. My husband, Stuart came in one day because he's pretty scared of me. He doesn't know what I'm going to do next. He's scared of me. He can't keep up, guys. He just keep up. He's Scottish, New Zealander. Can't keep up, mate. I don't blame him. So he comes in one day, he opens up the door of the sunroom and he goes, oh, wow. And he stood at the door and he goes, because he's quite a straighty 180 and he goes to me, he opens up and he goes, oh, wow. Are you? He's gobsmacked, right? He's so Scottish. He goes, are you taking this seriously? And I went, I don't know. In my Indian accent, I don't know. I'm just having fun. I don't know. And boom, after that, it went off, right? And I started posting my art on Instagram and it was hilarious. It was just like magic. It was like, I'm like in magic zone. I was like, oh, cute, like I'm having a fun. I was like, like bloody, I knew shit because I know one thing about me. It's quality control. I know I've hit the mark for me in my heart when I know something that is of value that is really good because I don't want to let it go. Okay, that's good of value and I know it's really good. I know it's with my photos. I have a discernment. I have a deep discernment of what looks good, what's good, especially when I'm styling people. Oh, mate, that looks good on you. That doesn't look good on you. And, I just know stuff, right? So it's built in, intuition. And then what happened is that with the art, I was like producing pieces of art going, yeah, that's great. I like that. No, there's something wrong with that. I just knew. But I was like, I'm talking to myself, right? It's quality control. And by the way, it's going back to what I said to you before. When you want to do something of excellence, think about that excellence of level of excellence and be that excellence of level. So if you feel in yourself, that was a pretty shitty podcast we just recorded. Don't put it out there. You know what I mean? Don't put it out there because you're going to feel better within yourself, but you didn't do it out there, right? Yeah. So, and I'm just going to go on to that little subject. I want to digress into just podcast subject, please, if that's okay. The other day I was asked to be on a podcast, right? How interesting is this? I was on the podcast and the lady that was podcasting me was, guess what? I felt in my heart and my soul, she's doing it just for the sake of doing it as a numbers game and not as a lessons and a heartfelt energy. So when I got on, she didn't introduce me in the way that I knew she should have introduced me because I asked her, have you researched and written your introduction of me? And she said, oh, no, I'm just going to let you answer that. I went, no, I will not put myself in that situation that I will be introducing myself in that way. Yeah. I said to her, you give the respect to the people that you interview, and you do the research, and you write a really good introduction to that person, and you give them that respect of their time and their energy and their talent to make your listeners listen in, because they will pick up on it. And I don't want, and me as the person does not, you want the best out of me, you're not going to get the best out of me. And she tried to fight it. And I said, no, girlfriend, don't go fighting me. No, don't shoot. and that's where she got it. She got it. And I said, excellence. I don't want to be treated as a number.
I just love that, excellence demands excellence, and that's so unique about everything you do. Yeah, even in your photos, in your painting, everything is unique. Yeah, wow. I just feel totally grateful that you've trusted us with your story.
Absolutely.
I love you guys, but it's so interesting. I just, well, my heart is with you anyway, so that's fine. But I mean, anyway, but it's that what I want to just impart with people is that it's just these lessons, and there's so many lessons along I'm sharing, that's all. And so going back to the art and this journey is that losing my creativity, losing my purpose, and losing my heart and passion has brought back the passion, the creativity, and the purpose. And guess what? The new 2.2.3 point version of me. And now, I love this shit.
Yeah, I love that.
Like it.
Zahrina, just a question, because I'm really intrigued.
I've never had more people more interested in me than ever.
Did you figure out that you had lost yourself? Was it an event? Was it over a series of time?
Or just a thought?
A thought? Like, how did you say, hey, I need to look at myself right now?
There's a backstory. There was another photographer that decided to take all my IP, copy me, rape and pillage me as a photographer. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And that really did not sit well with me. And when that happened, and I went, oh, unreal. I was really, taken back by it, so that's what happened. And what happened is that it really made me start to think about what's my purpose here. If someone wants to really take the breadcrumbs of Zahrina, fucking luck, you fucker. Sorry. And you know what? In my new book, it's going to be called Breadcrumbs. Go for it.
Love it.
Love it.
And then there'll be a chapter there, right?
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. What happened was that was probably a pivotal point. And to this point right now is that particular person continues relentlessly to tell people bad shit about me. Relentlessly putting me down, and what do you call that word? Defaming me. But guess what? The angel has risen. It's okay. The breadcrumbs, because I ain't none left.
Yeah, yeah.
I just love you. I love your honesty. Thank you so much. Your art is now featured all over the world.
Yeah, on my website. Yeah.
Like, I think when I was doing my research for my introductory, it's even in New York, and you've been featured in galleries in Australia. You've had openings. What was that like? Like this thing that came to you as like, I like color. Let me slowly bring one easel into my sunroom and a few colors, and now it's featured all over the world.
Well, I've never picked up a paintbrush in my life, guys. I'm telling you now, I've never picked up a paintbrush ever. Okay? So that's number one. What happened, though, was an epiphany of interesting, what do you call this word? Events of life. So when I got discovered by the New York Art Gallery, and it took me 2 weeks to decide, because I was like, oh, this is fake. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. And then I went. But when I went, that was incredible. I spoke and I met people that I never thought in the world I would meet. I came back, and on the television, I spoke, and I said to everybody that I had spoken to a woman. I didn't even know who she was. And she Zoomed me with her people, got me to Zoom her because she wanted to talk to me about an art piece for me to create for her. And her name was Brook Shields. The Brook Shields and I are talking on Zoom, and I'm going, hello, Hey, Stuart, to my husband. And he's like looking at me, oh my God, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so special. Anyway, it was just things like that. Now, Tony Robbins has my paintings, has a painting of mine, yeah. It's on the front of my website, zahrinagallery.com. You know, when I came back from New York, I wasn't discovered as an Australian artist in Australia. I was discovered as an Australian artist in New York.
Wow.
I came back, and guess what happened? Multi-million-dollar developer called Malfa, they said, hey, we heard about your story. We're going to, we're just going to give you all this massive space of like, I don't know, it's like massive, like space to create, we will build you a gallery in Australia for you to launch yourself as an Australian artist. I went, okay, that's a bit freaky. And I go, okay. And then Ridge's hotel chain came on board and fed 200 people and gave them drink for 200 people. And all of a sudden, I had a big event. It was crazy, guys. It was crazy. And so that's what happened. I got launched as an Australian artist that way. Wow. Then I was itchy with my art at the time as well. So I was also very itchy. Again, it comes back to excellence. What is it that I want to do? What is it and how do I want to do things with who, right? I'm always thinking that way, right? In a way, subconsciously, but not always questioning myself. But I was just going through the motions of what I do, I mean, for your listeners, you need to question yourself regularly. What is it that you're doing? Why are you doing it? Who are you doing it with? And are you feeling totally congruent with what you're doing, with all your passion and soul? So I just go through these motions, right? Because I like to kind of, question myself or feel like I'm grounded in it, what I'm doing. And then next thing I just painted. And so what's happened, this is crazy. You're going to fall off your chairs. I've got 3 websites. And I said to myself, universe, why have I know I've got 3 websites because you know what? You cannot mix 3 things into one. I can't. Mm-hmm. So I've got Zahrina.com, my speaker website, Zahrina Gallery, the art website, and then the Zahrina Photography and Video, the other website, right? I couldn't. And then I started looking, going, I'm multifaceted. Why is this so? I sat with it and carried on, and I'm doing the painting, and then, and I do speaking, and I love it, and I enjoy it, and motivation, I like it. And I've started getting an understanding that there's something not right here. I'm not changing and helping enough people. I'm not feeling I'm able to change enough people.
Wow.
I'm here to help more people. And I have realized that my art is a gift, and it is to connect to me helping people through my voice. And through my voice, teachings and learnings, I am going to be a global keynote speaker, helping a lot of people on stage, finding them about themselves and about their purpose, and painting on stage.
Amazing.
I want to let you know I've had a massive spiritual awakening.
And that's all coming from out of that pit that she went through.
Yeah.
And not many people really know that right now, because you're probably one of the first people, really. And I'm owning it because I'm coming through it, and there's been a lot of miracles happening, And I'm really, really know I'm here for something bigger. It's only coming now because of when you lean into yourself, when you lean into your gifts, when you go, oh God, 1 = 2 = 3 or something. Is that right? I'm bad at maths. It's just like now I understand why I'm here, for the purpose of what I'm here for.
Yeah.
God gave me the gift for motivation and helping people to help them. I'm now actually using my voice to do that, and do it from stage, and do it with passion, and do it with purpose, and do that and help a lot more people. God, I am excited. And do that by painting on stage, really taking a lot of people through a journey. I am so excited.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's just beautiful.
I can really feel the passion in your voice and the emotion in your voice. It's absolutely amazing. And I can see, like, you just radiate humility through your story. And I'm so blessed by that.
Yeah, absolutely honored to have you. And I'm just wondering, for those, because I know there would be a lot of listeners out there that have something in them that they want to create, they want to put something out there, but they're afraid to pursue it because they're worried about falling or failing, and just being embarrassed by the whole thing. So what would your message be for them?
Well, yeah, practice in front of your 14-year-old or your 12. The real answer. Doing my art, right? And I go, 14, I think he was 12 at the time, or 11 or 13, whatever it is. Yeah, right. He come in and goes, he thinks he's like, some, official. He go, Mum, he goes, what have you painted today? And I went, oh, I don't know. Anyway, he would come in and he would literally give me his opinion. And he did. I didn't even ask for it. He'd go, oh, pretty bad, man. That's pretty bad, man. I'd look at it, right, and I'd go, oh, he's right. And then my husband would come in and he'd go, not and so look, I went through a period, I'm not joking, it was the husband and the 14-year-old was my quality control.
But you didn't let that stop you, did you, Zahrina? You just
no, I'm going, I'm gonna show you too, So I'd come out with my masterpieces and they'd be going like slowly, and they'd be going, well, I'm going, what do you think of this? Oh, I like those ones over there. And I went, don't feel connected to them anymore. But what do you think of this? And they go, oh, yeah. And then I started realizing, what is it that I really want to be painting? What is it that's meaning to me? Again, going into what is it meaning and purpose for me as an artist painting, right? And it was like, I would be putting on this superficial story. I grew up near the ocean. I would paint the oceans, and I like the waters and the blues and the blah, blah, blah. Oh, yes, I grew up in the ocean. I'll be repeating that sort of thing. Yeah, that's a pretty good story. I'll go paint the oceans, right? God, I did it really well. Don't worry. I did it really well. But then I started getting itchy. Oh, there's just so many people wanting to paint the oceans. I'm boring. Oh, I'm not unique. Boring. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like everyone else. So what I did is that I started thinking, what is it that drives me? And guess what? On soul level, light. The energy of light, soul, meditative lightscapes is what I paint in my painting. So when you see soul, you see light. When you see my paintings, it's all meditative. I am the accidental artist of meditative lightscapes.
I love that.
That's beautiful.
I love that.
I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And when you see my work, I said to myself, I don't want to be doing cheap art and craft. I want to be painting like a master. I want to be painting like Picasso or someone, I don't know, out there. And I was like, I don't even know how to paint. I've never picked up a paintbrush, right? But I was thinking and thinking and thinking, and then suddenly I'm doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an amazing.
Another thing, I've never taken a paint class on how to mix paints. This is all deep intuition. Such deep intuition. I don't even know. I get these trips and I go.
But yet, without taking a paint class, your paintings are on the walls of Brook and Tony Robbins because of that intuition. And I just, I guess the trust you have for your intuition is just amazing.
And I can see that would take so much courage as well, just to be able to trust and listen to that intuition and just act on it too.
Yeah, that's a big part of my helping people to, look, here's another thing of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and then where I've come to my new 2.586 version of me is that when I take photographs, I when I do my, I've always thought that, no, of course, I've always wanted to connect to the person I'm doing the photographs with, because in my mind and my soul, I know the end result, or how I want to have the end result of the people. That's mechanical as well as heartfelt, right? But now I'm understanding that I'm actually, forget it. I'm going deeper down the rabbit hole with them. I want to go deeper, like as in I want to go deeper with people, in and deeper with their lives and with their purpose. And I know that I'm here to help people find it.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's just an amazing story that you've got there. And if I could just ask, we usually have a couple of questions at the end of the podcast. So one of those is, if you could go back and write your life story now, what would that look like?
Well, man, you know what? I don't think I could and would want to change anything right now, because I feel I've been literally a little bit reborn. I feel like I've been rejected, and I am the phoenix rising, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I have realized there are people out there that are in the love zone of themselves. They're in the heart zone, right? This is what I've noticed over my career. The people that are in the ego zone, I've realized with the people that are in the ego zone that why I have felt so itchy. And I didn't know that until really, really, really recently, where my heart has dropped into my heart zone a lot more to actually understand a lot about me to fly.
Yeah.
Without me going and dropping without me being in any of ego, it's because this is the real me now.
Yeah.
Whereas I wasn't in ego before. I think I've watched, and I might have been in a little bit of ego because I was driving my career upwards. I was probably working with the egomaniacs that needed their ego stroked. So I'm stroking their ego, they're stroking my ego. We're all growing egos. Ego Island, right? Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. So I was over that way for a long time. And that little bastard of me on that part lost, knowing that there was a lot that was here, was being dilapidated. My heart was being, chipped away at, but I didn't understand it until it was too late. That's what happened a little, And then now I'm back here. Life's too fucking short. My dad died at 65 of cancer. Life's too short. We're here for one reason, and it's a short reason, and it's life. And I've realized that no, I can't rehash anything. You can't. What a question. How can you? You've got to actually reinvent yourself now.
Yeah.
You've got to. Now I'm getting asked to be an MC. That was happened last night. 200 people. It's like so amazing to be asked to speak, and do this. Like people are seeing and feeling that I've got something to help, and I am ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. The cowgirl is here.
And I think the world's ready for you, Zahrina.
Absolutely. Watch out, world. Here comes Zahrina.
Yeah, definitely the world's ready for you. Zahrina, again, I want to thank you for just being your real self today and sharing how you rewrote your story. In many facets, you've rewritten your story, and I know you're going to help so many people in their journey and rewriting their story. And I know I feel blessed.
Absolutely. I so appreciated your vulnerability today, and it's just so refreshing and amazing to hear.
If I haven't shared this before, and I did share it earlier, but Zahrina, you have played a pivotal part in Charlene and I rewriting our story. And I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Gosh, Dad, why have you taken so long to tell me?
We got caught up in ego of ourselves.
Love you. Let's celebrate that, guys. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. And it's so interesting is that this is the thing. This is what I want to do for people. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you. Now, on the podcast, if you want to know more about Zahrina's books, what she does, they'll be in the show notes, as well as her links and how you can get a contact with Zahrina. And I do recommend her events. Zahrina runs specific events. So if you want to check them out, please go to her website for more details, and they'll be in the show notes. So once again, thank you, Zahrina.
Thank you for having me. And thank you guys for listening in. I hope I changed your life.
Awesome. Thank you. Now that we've explored our main topic for today and interviewed our guests, let's take a moment to recap the key insights and highlights from today's episode. Wow. I just love Zahrina. I love how she just brings her raw, authentic self to everything she does.
Right. Oh my gosh, just the way she just opens up and just really feels like when she mentioned about being highly sensory, I really sort of resonate with that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I think I'm sort of almost on that level as well, just being highly sensory.
And her work is amazing. If you go to our website, that's all Zahrina's work, and also you can look her up, and some of her interviews on the TV and on the news are just amazing, and you can follow Zahrina on her socials as well, and you can look through her artwork, you can look through her photograph work, and it's just amazing. And also her real showreel workshops that she does is amazing as well. I guess what I loved about Zahrina's approach is her views around excellence.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can almost see how you that resonates with you too, because we've always been on that level of commitment to excellence, right?
Yeah.
And that being having the excellence is about a commitment to completion.
Correct.
And just committing to do that process, committing to make sure that everything's complete before you give up.
Yeah, I just love also how her trust for her intuition.
Yeah.
That's inspiring, because that's not easy. All of us have that inner voice, all of us have our intuition, but how many times do we, her leaping out and trusting her intuition actually set the courses of her life in different trajectories.
Yeah.
What if she didn't listen to that? What if she didn't listen to that voice? She described it as loud and clear. Some people describe it as a small, still voice or a knowing. But if Zahrina chose to ignore that, the world would not know Zahrina.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're so thankful for that.
Yeah, her obedience to that is why we have Zahrina in the world. And we're blessed to call her friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
She's just amazing. And just the stuff that she gets into, her willingness just to explore and play and sort of see where it takes her.
Another thing that didn't come out on the podcast is Zahrina is a real connector of people.
Yeah.
And that's one talent that I really love of Zahrina. Yeah. She has the ability to see different people in different circles of her life, in different areas, and she just connects them and makes connections, and those connections become lifelong friendships, become collaborations. And I think that's something that I really want to highlight about Zahrina's skills, really highlight it. And though she said someone's gone out and taken her IP and done what she's done, you can't copy that.
I know. There's definitely no copying what Zahrina does.
Yeah, you can't copy her inner, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, her spirit, her soul. Because everything she does is so soulful, and that's something that no school, nothing can teach you. It's something from deep within.
I think when I think about it, when you see anything that Zahrina does, you can automatically tell that's a Zahrina thing. That's a Zahrina product.
That's a Zahrina photo. That's so awesome.
Thank you for listening to our podcast today. We hope you found it informative and inspiring. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and share it with your friends and family. Also, make sure to visit our website at www.rewriteyourlifestory.com.au to learn more about our mission, products and services. And remember, you have the power to rewrite your own life story. So go out there, face your challenges head on, and create the life you've always wanted. We'll see you in the next episode.